Anybody's feet tired? Legs, back? Think about what Jesus felt. Because he made a trek back and forth on the night that he was arrested. So somewhere in the area that we were, up in the upper room, up on this hill, Jesus had most likely the Last Supper. And they walked all the way across Kidron Valley to Garden of Gethsemane, where it says his soul was crushed with grief to the point of death. Doesn't count any other walking they did that day. Just across the valley where Jesus could hardly stand. His blood vessels burst under the pressure that he was under. Then Judas shows up with the religious elite of the day. In Luke 22:54, this is just after being in the garden. So they arrested him and led him to the high priest's home, which is here, this general area. So they would have crossed again the Kidron Valley and made their way up to here. Peter followed at a distance. The guards lit a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat around it, and Peter joined them there. A servant girl noticed him in the firelight and began staring at him. Finally she said, "This man was one of Jesus' followers." But Peter denied it. Remember, he'd already claimed he would never deny. Even if all these others deny you, I will never deny you. Peter denied it. I don't even know him. After a while, someone else looked at him and said, "You must be one of them." "No, man, I'm not," Peter retorted. About an hour later, someone else insisted, "This must be one of them because he's a Galilean too." But Peter said, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about." And immediately, while he was still speaking, the rooster crowed. At that moment, the Lord turned and looked at Peter. Suddenly, the Lord's words flashed through Peter's mind. "Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." And Peter left the courtyard, weeping bitterly. The guards in charge of Jesus began mocking and beating him. They blindfolded him and said, "Prophesy to us, who hit you that time?" And they hurled all sorts of terrible insults at him. We just went down into a portion of the dungeon. The part we skipped just goes down further. There's another dungeon down there. But as you can imagine, if Jesus were placed in a place like that, turn to Psalm chapter 130. Psalm 130. Jesus has now been betrayed, denied by one of the inner circle, the 3 of Peter, abandoned by every one of the disciples. They all ran, all of them. He was brought here, or somewhere near here, was beaten and tortured, perhaps placed in a dungeon like we were in, hands bound by ropes. You saw the little circles there that could have contained that. Maybe Jesus thinks of a psalm like this. "From the depths of despair, O Lord, I call for your help. Hear my cry, O Lord. Pay attention to my prayer. Lord, if you kept a record of our sins, who, O Lord, could ever survive? But you offer forgiveness that we might learn to fear you. I am counting on the Lord. Yes, I am counting on him. I have put my hope in his word. I long for the Lord." Think about that. Jesus being separated from the Father. I long for the Lord more than centuries long for the dawn. Yes, more than centuries long for the dawn. O Israel, hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is unfailing love. His redemption overflows. He himself will redeem Israel from every kind of sin. From the depths of despair, O Lord, I call for your help. As we climbed up here, I thought about how much my legs were hurting, and I just thought, man, as much as we've walked today, Jesus walked down there and back. under the most immense pressure we could ever imagine. So Boaz?
L'hanno recintato finalmente perché nelle